Welcome to Millennium Time Bulletin. I'm Shweta Samar from New Delhi and you're watching Millennium News Channel 24. Today I'm bringing you the latest updates from around the world. Let's begin with today's top headlines. US pauses intelligence sharing with Ukraine. China says it is ready for any type of war with the United States. Trump announces reciprocal tariffs on India to start from April 2. Education, artificial intelligence and healthcare at core of budget vision, Prime Minister Modi says. Bangladesh interim leader says he is dazzled by task ahead. Trump says Pakistan captured man tied to Kabul airport attack. Europe at turning point in history, French president warns. Global market rally as stocks surge and commodities show mixed trends. ICC Champions Trophy 2025, New Zealand beat South Africa in semi-final. 2026 World Cup final will include halftime show for the first time. Now let's look at the details. The future of US support for Ukraine is being pushed further into doubt, with the National Security Advisor Mike Waltz confirming on Wednesday that the United States has paused intelligence sharing with the Ukraine. We have taken a step back, Waltz told reporters when asked about suspending intelligence sharing. He added that Trump administration was pausing and reviewing all aspects of this relationship. French President Emmanuel Macron later announced a meeting of European Army chief in Paris next week, saying in a televised speech that the France must be prepared to move forward with the United States' help. I want to believe that the United States will stay at our side, but we must be ready if that is not the case, Macron said. Saying that the Europe is in a new era, Macron called for it to increase its defense spending. He also said that France, along with Ukraine and others, have prepared a durable peace plan. The United States has shared intelligence with the Ukraine since the early stages of Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022. It paused military aid to Kyiv on Monday following a dramatic breakdown in relation in the Oval Office last week, when Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky was told to leave after an angry meeting with the United States President Donald Trump. It remains unclear if the pause on intelligence sharing is partial or complete and how long it will remain in effect. CIA Director John Radcliffe also appeared to confirm the decision in an interview on Fox Business on Wednesday, saying Trump had a real question about whether President Zelensky was committed to the peace process, and he said, "Let's pause. I want to give you a chance to think about that." He said that the response came swiftly, with Zelensky's statement saying he was ready for peace. Radcliffe then said that on the military front and the intelligence front, the pause that allowed that to happen will go away and will work shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine. Waltz also suggested a more conciliatory tone was emerging between the United States and Ukraine, adding that the military aid and intelligence sharing pause could be lifted in the near future. China has warned the United States it is ready to fight any type of war after hitting back against President Donald Trump, mounting trade tariffs. The world's top two economies have edged closer to a trade war after Trump slapped more tariff on the all Chinese goods. China quickly retaliated, imposing 10 to 15% tariff on the United States farm products. If the war is what the United States want to be, it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other particular type of war. We are ready to fight till the end, the Chinese embassy said on X platform, reposting a line from a government statement on Tuesday. It is in the sum of the strongest rhetoric so far from China since Trump became the president and comes as a leader gathered in Beijing for the annual National People's Congress. On Wednesday, China's Premier Li Qiang also announced that China would again boost its defense spending by 7.2% this year and warned that the changes unseen in a century were unfolding across the world at a faster pace. This increase was expected and matches the figure announced last year. Leaders in Beijing are trying to send a message to the people in China that they are confident that the country's economy can grow even with the threat of a trade war. China has been keen to portray an image of being a stable, peaceful country in contrast to the United States, which Beijing accuses of being embroiled in wars in the Middle East and Ukraine. China may also hope to capitalize on Trump's action relating to the US allies such as Canada and Mexico, which have also been hit by tariffs and will not want to ramp up the rhetoric too far to scare off potential new global partners. The premier's speech in Beijing on Wednesday emphasized that China would continue to open up and hope to attract more foreign investment. Also, China has in the past emphasized that it is ready to go to war. Last October, President Xi called for troops to strengthen their preparedness for war as they held military drills around the self-governing island of Taiwan. But there's a difference between military preparedness and a readiness to go to war. The Chinese embassy in Washington Post that has been quoted a foreign ministry statement in English for the previous day, which also accused the US of blaming China for the influx of the drug fentanyl. The fentanyl issue is a flimsy excuse to raise US tariff on Chinese imports, the foreign ministry spokesperson said. Intimidation does not scare us, bullying does not work on us, pressuring, coercion or threats are not the right way of dealing with China, he added. The US-China relationship is always one of the most contentious in the world. President Donald Trump announced reciprocal tariff on India starting April 2nd, signaling a tough path ahead in the free trade agreement, that is FTA negotiations, which could clash with these sweeping tariffs. New Delhi, however, remain hopeful that the understanding reached between the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the President Trump on February 13 will help resolve the trade issues and keep the September deadline for signing the first tranche of the FTA. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has begun his US trip on Monday to meet the new United States Trade Representative USTR Jamieson Greer. In his first address of his second term to a joint session of Congress, President Trump defeated his strict tariff policies, highlighting that the United States has long faced high tariff from several countries, including India. He announced that his administration would impose reciprocal tariffs on several countries starting April 2. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them, and countless other nations charge us tremendously high tariff than we charge them. It's very unfair, Trump said. Also, Trump had previously referred to India as a tariff king and highlighted the auto sector, saying that India imposes tariff of over 100%. India charges us 100% tariff. The system is not fair to the United States. It never was. On April, reciprocal tariffs kick in. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them. Also, if they use non-monetary tariff to keep us out of their market, then we will use non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market, Trump said. Soon after announcing the reciprocal tariff, the White House put out a face sheet talking about India's high tariff. The US average applied most favored nation, that is MFN tariff on agriculture agricultural goods is 5%, but India's average applied M&F also tariff that is 39%. India also charges a 10% and 100% tariff on US motorcycles, while we only charge a 2.4 tariff on Indian motorcycles. New Delhi is hopeful that the trade issues can be sorted mutually as India-US ties are multifaceted, in line with the US understanding that arrives at the meeting between the Prime Minister Modi and President Donald Trump. We have a roadmap that will ensure we sort out any issue through consultations. India has taken steps to enhance market access for US agricultural products like alfalfa, hay, duck meat, and medical devices, and lower tariff on the United States product such as bourbon whiskey, motorcycles, ICT products, and metals. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Saturday announced that the gig workers would be provided health care under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, that is PMJ. This ensures nearly 1 crore workers will get health care at designated medical care facilities across India. Gig workers enter into formal agreements with the on-demand companies to provide services to the latter clients. Brands such as Zomato, Swiggy, Amazon, and Flipkart employ them. Gig workers provide great dynamism to the new age service economies. Also recognizing their contribution, our government will arrange for the identity cards and registration on the e-Shram portal. They will provide healthcare under the PMJ, the ministry said in the budget speech. Workers can avail themselves of the healthcare under the scheme based on their resignation and registration IDs and universal account number. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said his government welfare initiative for the gig workers underscored its commitment to the dignity of labor. The PMJ, that is PMJ, is the largest health assurance scheme in the world, which aims at providing a health cover of 5 lakh per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization to over 12 crore people and vulnerable families. At present, there is no clarity on whether families of gig workers would be covered under the scheme. Dinkar Vashish, the Vice President Corporate Affairs at Swiggy, called the move encouraging. The centre's decision to cover gig workers under the PMJ is a worthy one, he noted. Also, Swiggy and several other platforms have been providing health and other forms of insurance to the delivery partners for the past several years under terms that align with some of the best international practices. We will await further details to understand how insurance can continue to be best provided while ensuring that the interests of the delivery partners are well served, he said in a statement. Trade union Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh said registration on the e-Shram portal would ensure recognition for gig worker and aid their inclusion in the social security framework. In 2023, Rajasthan became the first state to regulate platform-based gig workers by bringing in an act ensuring labor's rights, security, and welfare schemes for them. Bangladesh interim leader says he felt dazzled when asked to take charge after long-serving Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was driven out from the power last year. I had no idea I'd be leading the government. I had never run a government machine before and had to get the buttons right. Once that settled down, we started organizing things, the Nobel Prize winning economist said, adding that the restoring of the law and order and fixing the economy were the priorities for the country. It's unclear if Hasina, who fled into exile in India, and her party will participate in elections Yunus hopes to hold later this year. She is wanted in Bangladesh for alleged crimes against humanity. They, the Awami League, have to decide if they want to do it. I cannot decide for them. The Election Commission decides who participates in the election, he said. Peace and order is the most important thing, and the economy. It is a shattered economy, a devastated economy. It's as if there is no some big trouble that the tornado for 16 years and we are trying to pick up the pieces says it is that bad. Sheikh Hasina was elected Prime Minister in 2009 and ruled Bangladesh with an iron fist. Members of her Awami League government ruthlessly cracked down on dissent. There were widespread allegations of human rights violation and the murder and the jailing of political rivals while she became the Prime Minister. A student-led uprising forced Ms. Hasina from office in August at the behest of protesters. Yunus come back to Bangladesh to lead the new interim government. He says he will hold election between December 2025 and March 2026, depending on how quickly his government can institute reforms he believes necessary for free and fair elections. If reform can be done as quickly as we wish, then December would be the time that we would hold elections. If you have a longer version of reforms, then we may need a few more months. We are coming from complete disorder, he said, referring to the violent protest that engulfed Bangladesh last summer. People getting shot, killed, but almost 7 months on, people in Dhaka saw law and order has not yet been restored and that the things are not getting any better. Better is a relative term, he said. If you are comparing it to the last year, for example, at the same time, it looks okay. What is happening right now is no different than any other time. Yunus blames many of the Bangladesh current woes on the previous government. We'll have to see how the issues unfold in the coming days and weeks. US officials provided intelligence to Pakistan that led to the detention of Mohammad Sharifullah, a leader of an Islamic State affiliate. The attack in 2021 killed 13 American soldiers and dozens of Afghan. President Trump announced that the capture of a top leader of the Islamic State in Afghanistan and Pakistan who helped plan the 2021 attack on the Kabul airport that killed 13 American service members and dozens of other people. They have just apprehended the top terrorist responsible for that atrocity, and he is right now on his way here to face the swift sword of the American justice, Mr. Trump said during his address to the Congress on Tuesday. Current and former officials said that the United States has provided intelligence to Pakistan that led to its capture of the leader Mohammad Sharifullah, who helped plot the attack on the Abbey Gate entrance to the Kabul airport. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan said that Mr. Sharifullah, an Afghan national, had been arrested by the Pakistani security forces in the border region with Afghanistan. Axios first reported details of Mr. Sharifullah's arrest. The Abbey Gate attack became the symbol of the chaos of the United States withdrawal from the Afghanistan in the opening months of the Biden administration. The military had been warned about the possibility of terrorist attack at the airport where thousands of Afghans were converging, hoping to flee as the Taliban took hold of the country. Although he did not name Mr. Biden during his remark on the attack, Mr. Trump lamented the withdrawal from Afghanistan as a disastrous and incompetent. Also, he called the Abbey Gate attack perhaps the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country since taking office. Mr. Trump's CIA Director John Ratcliffe has spoken with the Pakistan's intelligence chief Lieutenant General Asim Malik about the Mr. Sharifullah. Current and former officials said Mr. Sharifullah is a leader of the group known as the Islamic State Khorasan province, that is the ISIS-K. Cliff Sims, an informal advisor to Mr. Ratcliffe, wrote in a social media post that one of the Mr. Trump's first orders to the agency was to prioritize the hunt for those responsible for the Abbey Gate attack. European Union leaders are gathering in Brussels on Thursday for a special council on defense as French President Emmanuel Macron warned that the continent was at a turning point of history. As well as rearmament, leaders are expected to discuss how the body can further support Kyiv in the face of the US President Donald Trump's announcement on Monday that he would suspend aid to Ukraine. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is invited to the summit. Nerves have grown increasingly frayed across the Europe since the Trump and Zelensky showdown at the White House last week, and the rhetoric around the Thursday summit leaves no doubt about the importance of European Union officials are ascribing to it. 3 years on since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the Trump administration overtures to the Russian President Vladimir Putin have left many in the Europe concerned that the continent would not be able to rely on the US support for its security. Washington's decision on Wednesday to pause intelligence sharing with Ukraine did not do nothing to allay those worries. In a sign of the depth of concern, President Macron said France was open to discussing extending the protection offered by its nuclear arsenal to its European partners during an address to the nation on Wednesday. That followed a call from the Friedrich Merz, likely to be Germany's next chancellor, to discuss increased nuclear sharing. Europe was facing a clear and present danger on a scale that none of us have seen in our adult lifetime. European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen also said that while the European Council President Antonio Costa said this was a defining moment for Ukraine and European security. In a letter to European leaders, von der Leyen also said the continent had to meet the moment and unleash our industrial and productive power and direct it to the goal of security. On Monday, von der Leyen also announced an unprecedented defense package dubbed Rearm Europe and said that the Europe was ready to massively boost its defense spending with the speed and ambition that is needed. Von der Leyen said the three proposals outlined in the Rearm Europe plan would both support Ukraine and address the long-term need to take much more responsibility for European security, likely referring to the fact that many Europeans feel the continent can no longer automatically rely on the US to come to its aid. Now bringing you latest updates on today's market trends. Global stock market experienced a strong rally with major indices posting impressive gains, signaling renewed investor confidence in the United States. The Dow Jones Industrial Average surged past the 43,000 mark, climbing 485.60 points or 1.14% as investors reacted positively to the economic data and corporate earning reports. The broader S&P 500 also saw solid growth, rising to 64.48 points, that is 1.12%, while the tech-heavy Nasdaq outperformed, gaining 267.57 points, that was a rise of 1.46%, as the major technology stock continued their upward momentum. The Russell 2000, which tracks the small cap stocks, also moved higher, adding 21.22 points, that is 1.02%, indicating the strength in the smaller companies. Meanwhile, the volatility in the market eased, as evidenced by the VIX, that is the fear index, SBOE, the volatility index, dropping 6.72% to 21.93, suggesting that investor fear are receding and coincidence is improving. Also, in the Canada, the S&P TSX Composite Index rallied 1.22%, while the 298.82 points gain, while the S&P TSX 60, which tracks the largest companies in the country, advanced 1.07% with a 15.86% point increase. Also reflecting to the strong performance in the energy and financial sectors. In the Latin America, the stock markets followed the global uptrend, albeit with the smaller gains. Brazil's Bovespa index edged to 0.20% with the 247.76 points increase, supported by the strength in the commodities and financial stocks. Chile's S&P IPSA index gained 19.21 points, 0.26%, while Mexico's S&P BMV IPC saw the strongest regional performance, jumping 0.62% with a 324.68 point increase. The overall market sentiment remained bullish, driven by optimism around the economic growth, easing inflation concern, and expectation of potential central bank policy adjustment. Investors are closely watching the upcoming economic data and corporate earnings for future the signal for the American and the markets around the world. The commodities market experienced a mix of gains and losses today, with energy prices showing resilience, precious metal posting slight increase, and agricultural commodities maintaining a steady uptrend. WTI crude oil climbed 0.78 0.8% to $66.83, while Brent crude oil followed with a 0.74% gain, reaching $69.41. The rise in oil prices may be attributed to a combination of supply concerns, geopolitical tensions, and expectation of stronger demand as global economic activity remains steady. Additionally, production cuts by the major oil-producing nations or disruptions in supply chains could be influencing the bullish momentum in the crude oil markets. However, natural gas experienced a decline of 0.61%, dropping to $4.42. This downward movement could signal weaker sensational and seasonal demands, increased production, or the higher inventory levels. Natural gas markets often react to changing weather pattern, with lower prices potentially reflecting a milder outlook that reduces the need for heating fuels. Precious metals saw minor gains, with gold edging to 0.22% to reach $2,932 and silver rising to 0.20% to reach at $33. The slight increase in gold prices suggests that the investors are still seeking safe haven assets amid economic uncertainties, inflation concern, and fluctuating interest rate expectation. Silver, often considered as industrial and precious metal, also saw a modest increase, reflecting steady industrial demand. In the agricultural sector, soya beans rose 0.67% to reach $10.19, also signaling strong global demand or potential supply constraints. Also, the weather condition in the key soybean producing region, trade policies, and shifts in the global agricultural demand can all influence the price fluctuation in this market. Overall, the commodities market remain highly responsive to global economic trends, supply chain dynamics, and geopolitical developments. The upward trend in the oil and the precious metals suggests continued investor focus on inflation, energy demand, and safe haven assets, while the dip in the natural gas reflects changing seasonal patterns. As markets continue to navigate uncertainties, traders will closely monitor macroeconomic data, central bank policy, and global trade development for further price directions. We'll be right back after a short break. I'm Shweta Simar from New Delhi. Keep watching Millennium Daytime Bulletin.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back after the break. I'm Shweta Simar from New Delhi and you're watching Millennium Daytime Bulletin. Now let's look at some sports highlights. New Zealand beat South Africa by 15 runs in the second semi-final of the Champions Trophy to secure their place in Sunday's final against India. Electing to bat on Wednesday, New Zealand dragged up a tournament record of 362 on 6, riding scintillating hundreds by Rachin Ravindra and Kane Williamson at the Gaddafi Stadium. David Miller smashed an unbeaten 100 of the 67 balls, which was brought up of the final ball of the match, while Razi van der Dussen and Temba Bavuma struck half centuries, but South Africa managed 312 on 9 out. New Zealand captain Mitchell Santner used 7 bowlers but led by example with a match turning 3 on 43. Ravindra cracked a 101 ball 108, while Williamson hit 102 3 of 94 balls on a batting friendly pitch after New Zealand won the toss and batted first. Daryl Mitchell clubbed 49 of 37 balls and Glenn Phillips smashed a 27 balls 49 not out as the Black Caps plundered 110 runs in the last 10 overs and 66 in the last 5. It was followed by a magnificent 164-run stand for the second wicket between the Ravindra and Williamson that put the New Zealanders on track for a massive total as the duo scored at will with some delightful strokes. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has confirmed that the 2026 Men World Cup final hosted in the United States will include a halftime show for the very first time. The US, Canada and Mexico are set to co-host next year's tournament, with the final set to be played at the MetLife Stadium in the New Jersey on July 19, 2026. Never in the history of the tournament from the inaugural competition in the 1930 to now has there been a halftime show, but Infantino confirmed that the break of tradition after speaking at a World Cup event in Dallas. I can confirm that the first ever halftime show at the FIFA World Cup final in the New York, New Jersey in association with the global citizen, Infantino said in an Instagram post on Wednesday. This will be a historic moment for the FIFA World Cup and a show befitting the biggest supporting also the event that in the world has ever taken place. As well as advocacy group Global Citizen, Infantino said FIFA would be working with the British group Coldplay to help produce the halftime show. Coldplay performed at the Super Bowl halftime show in 2016 and called upon artists such as Bruno Mars and Beyoncé as special guests. Infantino did not say Coldplay would be performing in 2026, but said its member would be helping put together a list of artists. That's all for now. Thank you for tuning in. Stay with us for more updates. Log in to stay updated with the latest news on the social media platforms Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok at Millennium News 24. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel Millennium News 24. You can watch us on Android and iOS devices as well as on Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV and all smart TV platforms. Enjoy entertainment and latest news with us. Download the Millennium TV app, Millennium TV USA for Android and Millennium News on Google. Thank you for being part of Millennium News Channel 24.